Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk episode 303, Git Down 2024, the 14th annual Dinos Git Down. Wow, what a show. Bigger, badder, radder. You can't miss it. I'm just telling you. Put it on your list if you have not been to the Git Down. Here we go.
Yeah, definitely crazy. I couldn't stop. There was highs and lows. Lots of cussing in the garage and getting very frustrated and throwing tools. But you know what? It's drivable. We've got 500 miles on it now on the engine, and it drives amazing. So to see that reward at the end, that I can drive it and it sounds awesome. The stereo system's killer, and it's low.
Damn, son.
Hey guys, let me tell you about LMC Truck. Keeping generations on the road. Think about that. It's pretty deep. So whether your truck was handed down or something you went out and bought, odds are you were handed a bunch of paperwork, maybe a folder. In that folder was probably the catalog. You know the one. The most up-to-date and detailed catalog available today. It's like an encyclopedia for our trucks. Their website is just as detailed and informative. lmctruck.com. lmctruck.com. So whether you're restoring old memories or creating new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They're more than just a parts company. They truly understand the lifestyle and passion of owning a classic truck. So get out there and get to work on your truck and know that LMC is here to help. You can get online, lmctruck.com, and order your free catalog today. Keeping generations on the road. lmctruck.com.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Toast is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-to-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Did that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best. Maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
Here we go. Get Down 2024. Well, how about 3 weeks of craziness? So, start out, we go to SEMA, and I did record a little bit of pod, and I'm going to lump that into the back of this one. I only grabbed a few interviews, wasn't feeling great, still haven't gotten through the COVID. I had the long COVID, so you could probably even almost still hear it in my voice, where it's been over 5 weeks, and it's just one of those things where I'm sure a lack of rest and maybe some alcohol along those 3 weeks and just life. It's crazy. But SEMA 2024, I felt like SEMA was just a little off, maybe a little light, and maybe that's because I wasn't feeling my 100%, which is, for me, I'm usually, my 80 is most people's 100. So I just was tired, and I wanted to get home, work on the truck, get ready for Dinos. So SEMA was fun, a lot going on. Maybe from the C10 perspective, a little light. The G bodies were prevalent, and some really, really nice trucks. Missed a couple parties that I wish I would have went to, but just wanted to kind of get home. Again, wasn't feeling great. Dinos Git Down, my God. So the 14th annual, looking back, I dropped episode 4 for C10 Talk, which was our first Git Down, which was our first recording, but the 4th Git Down. So that was like 10 years ago. So this is our 11th recording of Git Down audio pod, I guess, which is really crazy when you think about it, and just how this show has grown tremendously. The support of you, the C10 Nation, just the popularity of the trucks, Chevy trucks, the community, the vendors, and it is amazing. So SEMA, the Git Down. And then good guys, we have the Southwest Nationals out in Scottsdale. And the cool thing about that show is that is the end of the year. So all of the award winners are announced. There's like 12 of them. And that's really cool. And they're all there and they're all present and they kind of do a little parade. So really high-end builds, really, really neat stuff and great people. So ran up there for a day and just been a great 3 weeks, but a lot going on. The Git Down never disappoints. Crazy how big that damn thing's got. 250 vendors. They're thinking like 7,000 maybe on like Saturday, and 9,000 is what I heard. And don't quote me on that because I don't know if anybody knows. I know that it's hard to keep track. And the way that the Git Down is kind of spread out, there is like the Cardinals Stadium, Arizona Cardinals Stadium in Glendale. There is kind of a green belt, and the vending area and the top 100 is kind of to the south. Well, it is to the south. I got to go north sometimes because I want to see those diamonds. I want to see those jewels. I want to see the people and meet the people. So I did grab a couple interviews to the north, but, there's just some killer rides and killer people. Got some cool interviews. A couple guys from Australia, Big Steve from Germany, and I love capturing that. And then again, just some people who are like, hey, as a bucket list, I wanted to drive out. I'm here. I came from a few states over. So really, really good time. Great time. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Thursday we set up. I mentioned this story, and I'll try to make it as quick as possible, but Thursday night, we have to be in. If you're a vendor, you got to be in and out by like 7, right? So it's dark, and we're putting like the last tire on my Big Sky 25. So it's got 37s, and I had to put like the Goonie wheels on there to get it on and off of the trailer, and then unload it, throw the big 37s on. Got like one more tire to go. I got Kyle Metalox helping me. I got John Orrell, C10 Club. And all of a sudden, here comes this golf cart down like a main aisle. So I'm going to say like 30 feet. And it's Dino. Well, the way the lighting was, again, it's dark parking lot style lighting. I could tell that it's Dino. Obviously, even Dino's silhouette and his voice. And he could not tell that it was us. And I could tell that he couldn't. And he went right into dad mode, or dad voice. And I was just laughing. He's like, hey, you guys need to wrap it up. We got to get everybody out here. And I'm just laughing. And I go, hey, okay, do you know Dino? And he's like, you guys need to get out of here. And we're like, I think John goes, we're just putting this last tire on. He's like, well, there's 2 of you not doing anything and only 1 guy's working. I think at that point it might have been Kyle working and then John and I just sitting there, but it was hilarious. So John thinks Dino literally knows it's us, and I'm like, hey, John, he does not know it's us. He has no clue. So the next day he comes rolling up in the golf cart, and I go, hey, you went full dad mode on us last night. And he's kind of like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, you literally yelled at us last night. He's like, holy shit, I didn't even know that was you guys. So that was my takeaway from the 2024 14th annual Get Down, was getting yelled at from Dino in the dad voice. But he did the raffles. One thing I did talk to him, the raffles is amazing. I mean, some motors, some transmissions, and they gave away a lot of really, really cool stuff. I did get the seat winner. I've got them on here. One guy won a motor and the transmission. So crazy. I mean, this whole thing is full of all these tickets, and one guy won both. And I had reached out to him at the show, and then I said, hey, if you want to get with me, I got his number, and then we just never really happened. But I'd still be down to do that. He won a motor and a transmission. Super cool. He said he went around to all 9 places, filled out the ticket, and good for him, man. He increased his odds, and he won. And even when little Dino pulled it, he was like, holy shit, there's no way, and it's the same guy. So I think it was Aaron, and they went Aaron, type deal. So pretty cool, and the guy won both. So the awards ceremony, or the giveaway ceremony, was like 2 hours, and I think they're going to have to work on that. Dino very graciously gave a few of us some awards, John Orrell, Renee, and then I think Eddie Money too, but he also gave myself an award, he did kind of these plate awards. He gave some stuff out. John Orrell, Renee, C10 King. Obviously, those guys have a 25-year kind of C10 Club thing this year. 25 years of cruising, celebrating the C10 Club. No rules, no dues. Obviously, what Renee started and John has taken to, worldwide. So that was cool. he gave a little recognition to the pod and, my involvement in the community, obviously in the Git Down. And so that was really cool. Got it like a really cool, billet plate, and it's cool, kind of an Arizona style plate. I'll post it up. And then he also recognized Eddie Money, which is probably one of Dino's best friends, a 2-time cancer survivor, and he has a kind of a charitable thing as well. So that was really a neat time, or a neat part of the awards, giving that stuff away. So the Git Down again was just amazing, overwhelming, 250 vendors. It's funny because I feel like I cover a lot of ground. I get on my bike and I run around and try to meet people and see people and catch up with people. But it really has gotten to be pretty crazy just how big it is. I joked with Dino. I'm like, I'm so glad that it's not Sunday, and I know you're tired, but we almost need another day because it's just so fun and so many people. But Git Down 2024 is in the books, and Dino and Terry just did a bang-up job. I mean, they're just killing what they're doing. So the Tyson fight sucked. I wrote that down here on my notes. That was Friday night, and that was fun. It was fun that, everybody's in town and people were meeting up and going out. We went out, and that was just kind of a flop, the fight itself. And then the next night, Saturday night, a ton of people from all over C10 Club kind of got together, and there was a taco thing at Salt, so that was kind of a buffet style. There was people from all over, so that was a fun thing. I believe I reposted it. John Oro, Renee, a bunch of people. I feel like there's a group picture, like 50 people there that night, so that was a really good time. And then again, just catching up with so many people from all over the country. It's always a good time. That's what it's all about, really. SEMA and Dinos, and then again, good guys here. We get to see people from all over the country catch up. So really good time. All right, Thanksgiving. Well, first and foremost, Thanksgiving is friends and family and food, and hope you're surrounded by loved ones, which means sales. Black Friday sales. You've got, Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday, and it's all just kind of looped into one now, right? So it's like a week-long event. I will say most of our sponsors and the vendors we use are having sales, so make sure you're jumping on their social media. 10%, different specials, AZ Pro, United Pacific, Marquet, PSI, CPP. I've seen a ton of their specials, so get on, support those guys. You're doing your thing, you're doing your build, and it helps them, and they're part of helping us, and we want to keep bringing you what we're bringing you, so it's a good thing. We also are having a 30% sale, so we make a lot of gear. We get hats and shirts, and we get ready for the Get Down, and now we have a ton of inventory. So we've got shirts, we have the 10-year Damn Son, that's a new one, kind of a concert style. We put all the different shows for the 10 years on there. We've made that in a long sleeve and a short sleeve. If you're a short sleeve person, order one size up because that's kind of a comfort fit style. And long sleeve, I love wearing long sleeves, even though I know even in Arizona we don't have a huge long sleeve season, but I love me some long sleeve, and the long sleeve are size correct. So if you wear a large, get a large. If you wear an XL, get an XL. They're 100% cotton. They're a Gildan hammer, and they're pretty heavy. So short sleeve, size up. Long sleeve, correct. We also did OBS shirts. We did Great Since 88. And then the Hot Wheels, which is the C10 Nation, kind of in a Hot Wheels style logo, still plays with trucks. We reordered that because we got really low on some shirt sizes. So you've got Hot Wheels shirt, the Damn Son 10-year concert style, the OBS Obsessed Great Since 88, and then a bunch of hats as well. So 30% off, use TRUCK30 at checkout. It's easier for you to use a coupon code than me going through the whole website and marking everything down. So stickers, hats, banners. You want, your truck on a banner. You want a cool state banner. We have so many different banners that we've done over the years, and they're all on sale. 30% off. Use TRUCK30. You want a Canadian flag, you want an Australian flag, New Zealand, Germany, whatever you want, we've got it. We've made quite a bit of different art over the years, and we can put it in a banner and get it out to you. Use the code TRUCK30, and that will get you your 30% off, okay? Thank you guys for your support. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. If you haven't, episode 301 is LS Fab out of Canada. Some of the amazing parts that they do. They were out at the Get Down. And then we backed that up. We kind of did a double whammy with Goonie Wheel as well. Just kind of getting that product pod out to you. So 301 LS Fab, 302 Goonie Wheel. This is going to be 303 Git Down with a little bit of SEMA in there. Like I said, I wasn't feeling great. Put that at the end. And then I've got 2 already lined up. Well, I've got 1 recorded, and then I've got another whammer jammer that I'm going to record this coming Monday. So I've got Alicia Marie out of Canada. She came down to SEMA, met her at the Git Down, and said, hey, let's finally get you on the pod. It's been in the works for a while, but stoked to get her on the pod and catch up with her and really kind of get to know who the person is, again, behind the wheel. 305, because Dino is 303, Alicia's 304. My buddy Brandon is going to be 305. Now, I don't like to talk about pod until the pod is laid down. I like to have the pod before I talk about the pod or promote the pod. This has been a pod that's been in the works for a while, and it is probably, in my opinion, one of the most WTF situations that, it's just absolutely fucked up. It's just fucked up. And it is a guy who wants a truck built, and it is a builder. And we're going to sit in studio, and we're going to talk about the situation. We're going to talk about his journey, and we're going to talk about some lessons learned and some things he's going through. And hopefully, you as a listener, you as a consumer, and you as a hobbyist will learn from this situation, because it is extremely frustrating, and I can honestly tell you that I have been very close to this situation since, I've known Brandon for over 18 years, so I know what he likes, I know what he does, I know the man that he is, and he's a fellow firefighter, and I would die for this dude. He is one of the best guys I know, and his WTF situation is crazy, so I've got him talked into sharing this situation and this journey with you, and that's going to be 305. So 303, 304, Alicia Marie, and Brandon, 305. All right, guys. From an OBS perspective, I'm going to try to get caught up before the end of the year. I've been slacking and lacking on that, but now that SEMA and the Get Down is over, I'm gonna get hustling and bustling on that and get you some pod on the OBS side of things. All right, guys. Again, thank you for your support. Thank you for just being you, being the C10 Nation. Oh, hey, I actually won an award. I didn't write it down in my notes, but Mike Losh awarded me the Ron Knowles Award, Memorial Award. Tim Strange started the award. Brandon Cisco from Cisco Fab got the first initial recipient. He nominated Mike Losh, or he awarded Mike Losh from Slosh Tubbs the award, and then Mike did that for me, and that was presented to me at Saturday night at the Get Down. So it was very cool. And my plan with that is to expand on that a little bit and get to know more about Ron and the award. So we'll have Tim on, I assume. And then Mike, what I want to do with Mike was one of my first guests, which is really crazy, like 10 years ago. And what he's done with Slosh Tubbs in the last 10 years is absolutely remarkable. Him, his wife, his family, the products that he's made. It really went all in. You know, he worked it was a side hustle. He had a job as, salesman, as a car salesman, and took that leap and jumped in, and he's all in. And we've got Slosh Buddy Buckets, we've got Slosh speakers, we've got fenders, and we've got everything. Mike is working so hard on making so many rad products for us. So cool to receive that award from Mike. I now get to pick the next recipient and then give it to them. And I also, again, want to know a little bit more about Ron Knowles. So I'll have Tim and Mike talk about that. And then again, Mike will be on for another episode, because cool to be at a 10-year mark and then kind of flip this and see where people are. So a lot of rambling on that one. Appreciate it. Thanks again so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Have a great Thanksgiving. Family, friends, and food. I'll be at the fire station working, which is kind of fun. I mean, it's a little different, but yeah, that's what it is. That's the job. So thank you, guys. I'll be thinking of you. Have a great week. Late. Sometimes you just got to have something to start you off. We're at the 14th annual Get Down. This place is maddening. And I've got Dirk, who approached me today, and we're going to talk plate talk. So when you think about plates, I love license plates. Dirk, and rest his soul, R.I.P. Eric. It's a cool story with this plate. We got one rad crew, CRU, number 1, RAD, CRU, Cali plate. Dirk brought it. It could be a weapon on the plane. He packed it. He brought it. I've got it. He's giving it to me. Dirk, let's talk a little bit about Eric first. And I don't want to get you sad, but you had a wild brother that stole this plate.
Right.
Statute of limitations. Sorry, Gen Pop, whoever had this plate. I got it now. We're going to put it on the Plate Hall of Fame. Thanks for bringing the plate. Thanks for taking time to be on C10 Talk. He's obviously a listener. What's the story, brother?
Yeah, no problem. My brother was really wild in his day. Did a lot of everything. He was clean and sober for 20 years. Back in the day when he wasn't, he handed me this plate, and I'm like, that's cool. It's been hanging in my garage for 20 years. And now he developed a brain tumor, lasted 2.5 years, thought he was going to last 6 months, and passed away. And so, yeah, all we got is memories. And I don't know if this is really a memory that I need to have, is something he stole, but I'm giving it to Ronnie because I know he's into the word rad.
Yes, I am very much into the word rad, and I appreciate it, Dirk. And the cool thing about your brother, I mean, again, we don't want to be like a somber perspective, but out of respect is we only know what we know and how long we have. I don't want to sound like Kamala on that, but we have what we have. So tomorrow, the next day, and obviously as a firefighter, I don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. So this is your first Get Down. What's your thoughts?
I love it. I mean, it's massive. I have hardly seen anything yet. I go to a lot of car shows in the Bay Area, California, where I live, but never been to anything like this. I mean,
and this is big, and that was meant to be. Not only the way that Eric got it, but obviously the way you got it and you brought it to me. Now, here's another thing. You had a few strikes going against you, but tell us a little bit about this pig nose, because a pig nose is a very unique truck. But here's the deal. I was just talking to somebody earlier that buys a lot of 67 to 72 Suburbans, and I'm glad that there's somebody out there that likes those, and I'm really glad that you like pig nose. So tell me a little bit about your truck.
It's a 60 pig nose, long bed, X-frame, everything.
All the whammies.
Small window. But I do have an LS3 that I'm going to put in it hopefully in the next year.
Will you leave it a long bed?
Yeah, because I don't want to buy a frame.
But you only live once.
Yeah, I mean I looked into it, and I already put a coil front end on it, a 76 front end. And
what happens if I find you a 63 or newer short bed chassis for under $1,200?
I might be interested, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to find you one.
I would rather have a short bed, yes. But then I was looking for like a vintage camper shell, long bed, lowered would look cool too.
Yes, lowered long beds, pig nose. Here's the deal. A pig nose is so unique. It's so cool. I love your vision on that. But we could probably find you a short bed camper as well.
I'm gonna keep the pig nose. It's a decent hood, and
pig nose are no, I don't. But here's the deal: they're so ugly that they're cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I think my perspective on it is that we get to see what GM would have done because now they release those pictures. And some of the stuff that they were thinking about was a lot worse. Yeah, and so, again, sometimes a pig nose could be so crazy that they are kind of cool. So I would tell you that, obviously, I don't absolutely love it. I think it's so unique that it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah. How did you end up with a truck?
It was for sale on the side of the road, and I'm like, oh, it's an Apache. I mean, I wasn't really that into it. I've had square bodies and stuff like that, but nothing really nice. But I just kind of looked at it and was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And lowballed him a little bit and ended up getting it. Had a 235 with dual carbs, split exhaust. It was pretty nice. A lot of people love that shit, but I'm not that into that.
So let's say this. If I said right now, obviously you have your truck. If I said, Dirk, what would you want as your top 5 to top 10 things in a truck, and kind of combining what you know you have with what you want? Would you build a long bed? Would you build a short bed? Would you find a camper? Would you LS it? What would you do with the truck?
I would I would definitely want a short bed,
Okay.
It's a wide box,
Yep.
LS, dependable, something I can drive everywhere.
How about big back window? Do you care about that?
I actually like small back windows. I don't know why everybody loves those things. I think the small ones look so good. And I used to work at an RV place 100 years ago. And
He's not that old. He's old, but he ain't that old.
that was the most difficult window because we used to put sliders in. Those were the hardest to put in because they're so fucking small.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did a lot of them back in
Think about how small it is to put a slider. There's no room for that.
Yeah, no, it's sliders.
Okay, so you like the small back window, but here's my thought. Let's talk about this. 67 C10 is the only year you can get a small back window. A small back window 67.
You mean in 67 to 72?
Yes, it's the well. That's the end. 67. There's
that's the end of the line.
at the end. Well, okay. Just so you guys in the audience know, you can get a 72 with a small back window, only like in a grain truck, and those are all 67 cabs that they left, and those are in the big, like a C50. They use those cabs. But for a C10, you can only get a small back window in a 67, and after that, it runs its course. Here's the deal. I think a small back window looks good if it's lowered and it has pretty big meats and it gives it kind of a race car, race truck perspective. Yeah. So for you with your 61 pig nose, would you go how low, or would you go coils, or what would you go?
I mean, I'm 100 years old, so I probably shouldn't. I actually have airbags in the front of it right now. That it's a project still, and I probably would like to have it low, not slammed on the ground, not land frame or anything. But
so I think we're gonna find you a frame, and you're gonna do coilovers, because coilovers is low, but it rides like a Corvette. So QA1, Ride Tech, React. There's so many companies now. You coil over it, you leave the small because you like the small, you shorten it, and you're good to go. Now, power plant, what are you thinking?
well, I have a LS3 sitting at home.
LS3, pig nose, we got it. Mama's happy, you're happy, we're going to do it. Where can we follow you on social media?
Sparky Man D.
What's the man D? I get man as in man Dirk?
I'm a Sparky Man, yeah, Dirk. Sparky Man, I'm an electrician, so Sparky Man D.
Are you retired, or are you still working? 12
12
months left, 8 months?
180 something days.
All right, just over a year. You're going to retire, and then you're going to work on trucks and chill?
I want to do a shop in my backyard, which I have yet to do, and I'd like to sit there and screw around with my truck and other stuff.
Okay. If you have a dry, clean, stock chassis that we can put coilovers on, let us know. Dirk, thank you for the plate. Thank you for your time. One rad crew, I appreciate it very sincerely. Late.
Thank you. Later.
Come on. We got a Grecian Bronze 76, a little bit of my kryptonite. I got Gene from El Paso. Let me do the interview. Just calm down. All right, tell me about this truck. I love Grecian Bronze and white, but I love that this thing is a little bit of a survivor. You've got the truck, you've got the book to go through it all. How did you in your life intersect with this truck?
I was going to look at the trailer that it used to pull all its life.
Meaning, like, for the audience, a double axle pull behind camping trailer.
Yes. And ended up buying the truck because the camping trailer was too beat up.
Are you a square body guy, or was it just like
GM guy.
Okay, and then you saw the truck and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, I want this truck. I need this truck in my life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Had to buy it. Had a big block.
Okay, so it has a 454, 1976, Grecian Bronze and white, 3/4 ton, 2-wheel drive. And then it turns out that the guy that owned it, was he the original owner, and he worked with your dad?
Original owner, special ordered, and worked at the AT&T phone company with my dad.
So you are, Gene, the second owner, and George was the first owner.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We love it. Taking it everywhere.
I can see you're pretty fired up about it. I'm going to work on getting you a little more fired up about it. So what have you done to give this truck? I like to say these trucks don't realize how lucky they are. So George buys the truck. It had a great life. Starts to fade out. Not pulling the camper anymore. Out to pasture. And then here comes Gene. You resurrect it. Next thing you know, we're talking about it on a podcast. You're at truck shows. It gets a second lease on life.
Yes, he passed away and the truck just sat for 34 years. Got it running, did some suspension, brake work, new radiator, and it runs like a clock.
So here's the deal. I've had a few of these 76 big blocks. They're just horrible for fuel mileage. 8 to 9, maybe 10 if you're lucky. How does the old truck do?
Just like that.
All right, 8 to 9 gallons. Have you thought about upgrading or changing anything to modern, overdrive, anything like that? Fuel injection?
No, I got to leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
And you still have the camper topper on the truck as well?
Yes, it's a Winnebago.
What's your favorite part of the truck?
The interior.
Because it's so nice?
Yes, real good shape. Only had to put a new dash pad and reupholster the seat.
So you bought the truck. George passed away. Was George's wife still around?
No, it belonged to his son.
And what does his son think about this?
He says I did a good job.
I could tell you really like to talk a lot. I'm going to continue to help with this. I see the boss over behind us. What does she think when she's sitting shotgun, getting 9 miles a gallon, stopping at multiple gas tanks or gas stations because you only have one tank?
She's happy to keep her credit card ready.
At all times?
At all times.
If I said, Gene, I said, hey, you got $5,000, maybe 10, let's not get carried away. What would you do with that money if I said you could only spend it on the old truck?
Probably a few more upgrades. But keep it original.
But that's exactly what I'm asking you. What upgrades, Gene? Work with me here.
An overdrive.
An overdrive. A gear vendor or a 4L80?
Gear vendor.
Okay, gear vendor. Now, what gears are in the rear end of this truck?
373s.
373 is a good one. It towed a camper its whole life. What's your plans? I mean, are you just going to keep running it the way it is? Maybe upgrade a few things? AC work, AC not work?
AC works. AC blows cold.
All right. Well, a man of many words. Not very often I get a guy that I'm just like, tell me about your truck. But we got old Gene. He's out of New Mexico. Where at in New Mexico are you from?
El Paso, Texas.
Do you know a guy named El Chuco C10?
Yes, we're in the club.
Alex from El Chuco, the whole group, Rainbow Fountain, all those guys. I love your truck. I love Grecian Bronze. Now, last question. Is there anything that's been painted, or did you just give it a real nice wax color buff?
Just compound and buff.
You did a good job. Did you do it, or did you pay somebody to do it?
I did it.
Anything else that you'd like to add, a man of many words?
No, just get them back on the road.
Get him back on the road. We got Gene. He's out of El Paso, which I consider New Mexico. He considered Texas. That's all right. I don't think it had cab lights. I'm looking. It doesn't have cab lights. I like cab lights. 3/4 ton 1976. George would thank you. Thanks for keeping this thing on the road, Gene.
Thank you.
What up, what up? How about some North Lot love? We're in the north side, and for the audience that isn't at the Get Down, which I can't imagine that's many, south side is more vendors. North side is kind of some Gen Pop parking. And I come across this amazing 1973 Cheyenne Super 4x4 K10. And we've got Miss Lily, she's a beaut, and she's got style, and her truck is a beaut. How about right out of the gate? Do you have a name for this truck, Lily?
I do. Its name is Sterling.
Why Sterling?
I really like the little silver touches, the chrome. I just think it was a fitting name.
All right. Now, what's the story? Is this your truck, and how did you come across it? And tell us how this whole life of Lily and Sterling came together as one.
Well, this is my truck, and my dad and I have both been fond of old trucks for a really long time. And we kind of went on a mission to find one together. And, we went around to different auctions, and we actually ended up finding her at Barrett-Jackson. Bid on her, got her, and took her home. We've had her for about a year now and have been fixing up little things here and there. Most recently, replace the heater core, had some new wiring done, work on the fuel lines, which was a really, really big pain in the butt, and then also a new steering column, so it's really smooth when it turns right now.
Okay, I like that you bought it at Barrett. Now that you said that, I remember seeing this same exact truck at Gilbert and Pecos, which is 1 whole mile from my house. I remember seeing this when it was very fresh out of the auction, so this is all making sense now. You bought it at the auction. It's got a lot of style. It's got pop. It's got personality, a little bit like its owner for the audience. Do you always work on trucks with your dad, or is that kind of a new thing because you and your dad kind of said, hey, let's buy this together and Lily is now mine? And is this also your daily?
So it really depends on the day. For work, typically I have to drive longer distances, so I'll drive a Camry. But, if I'm going out country dancing or just going out to wherever for little fun things with my friends, I'll take my truck.
Yes. I got to think, you're a young female. What do your friends think about you driving a 1973 Cheyenne Super K10?
Well, typically they're pretty envious of it and want to buy trucks too. My friend past Wednesday referred to me as her Pinterest board. So that was a pretty good compliment.
What's your favorite thing about the truck?
Just like the feel of being in an old classic car. I love the bench seat. I love the old style. I just have a bit of an old soul, so it's just my favorite thing to be in a older vehicle. Especially if I'm like listening to old classic rock too. It's just, I love the 70s. The 70s are great.
It was a great time, and I lived in part of it, but you're right. It's just a little bit less stress. I love the style. I love the truck. Is your dad into trucks and kind of wanted to get you into the trucks? Or was it just kind of like, hey, Dad, I want an old truck. And he's like, cool, let's find you one.
So it actually all started with my grandpa's old truck. He had an 87 Ford Ranger, little red truck. And I loved it. I loved it so much as a kid and as a teen growing up. And I always knew I wanted a truck. It was just a matter of time. I didn't end up getting to keep that one just because of the situation. We had to leave it back, behind at our old house. But I have just always loved trucks, and I think I kind of brought my dad into liking trucks more. He loves Scouts, actually. He used to have an old Scout when he was younger, and they'd take that thing off-roading and wherever. So he actually might look for a Scout at Barrett Jackson next year. But he likes trucks more now that we have Sterling here.
So, is this your first Git Down?
This is my first Git Down.
What do you think?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I love seeing all the classics here. I really do. I will say this is a bit controversial. I'm not as big of a fan of the slam trucks.
Well, you're rocking a killer K10 with like a 4-inch lift on 35. So I think that's kind of cool that you have, you're going to be in the 4x4 world. There's less of you than there is of the slam trucks. That's definitely the style, but I think it's cycling. And I think with the youth and like your soul, because you and your truck have some deep soul, I could tell that you're going to see more and more of this up stuff.
Oh yeah, and I mean, can't wait to take her off-roading too. Love the off-roading, throwing stuff in the back, in the pickup, and just taking her out. It's nice that she can actually be used for all sorts of functional things too. She doesn't just look pretty, she runs great, and she's very, very, very helpful when it comes to dealing with certain things.
If I said, hey, Lily, you've got $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, you can only spend it on your truck, what would you do with that money?
I'd probably restore part of the dash to having its original wood. Maybe clean up the door paneling a little bit, and probably like to put in a nice leather bench seat too. I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, she kind of explained it. She's got a cloth seat that's been redone. Her wood grain, because it is a super, on her bezel was stripped at one time. Her door panels are actually really nice. Overall, I mean, when you think about Barrett, it's a nice truck. The paint job's phenomenal. I think she mentioned that it was out of Havasu. Somebody got a hold of it. It's a great looking truck. What's your social media? Where can we find you?
Lili.Barton. That's Lily.Barton.
And do you post Sterling on your social?
A little bit, but I plan on making an account just for Sterling soon.
Yeah, I think you should, and please tag C10 Talk. I love your truck. I love your style. I love that you're an old soul and that you're driving the truck the way you are. I hope this guy sitting next to you right here realizes that, because he has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea what he's dealing with. Love the truck. Love Sterling. Lily, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I embarrassed her.
So you bought a C10, and it either had AC at one time or it wasn't even an option. Well, Vintage Air has the solution for you. Their SureFit kits are designed to place the evaporator and hoses behind the dash for a factory clean look. The Vintage Air SureFit kits are the best value and the most completely engineered air conditioning system you can install in your C10. Damn, son, the choice is obvious. VintageAir.com.
So you're thinking about converting your truck from a long bed to a short bed. Here's what you need. Brothers Trucks long bed to short bed conversion bracket. Includes laser-etched steel templates with all the holes clearly marked and steel inner C-channel braces. It also includes front-to-rear brake lines, shorter parking brake cables, hardware, and all the detailed instructions telling you what to do. You can also jump on Brothers' YouTube channel for a detailed, step-by-step video to make the process easier. Brothers Trucks has an easy solution for you, and they even offer bedside parts as well. BrothersTrucks.com.
Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
One of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece. It's oversized bearings, definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
You need a new spindle anyways. You're going to lower your truck. You're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com.
Sniper 2. Are you ready to switch out that old carb for a modern EFI system? Well, Holley has a solution for you. The all-new Sniper 2. This new system was redesigned from the ground up. Available in tumbled polished or black powder coat, and there's 3 available tuning interfaces. A classic 3.5 handheld, a 5-inch mountable, which includes a GPS speedo or a Bluetooth module so you can use your smartphone. Another big bonus is the Sniper 2 has a built-in transmission control module. So if you're looking to upgrade to a 4-speed overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, you now can with ease. Holley.com to get started today, Holley.com.
Marquet has been in business for over 40 years. It all started in the original owner's garage. From humble beginnings of a couple parts in a garage to a 2-building manufacturing facility making over 6,000 parts, Marquet has grown to be one of the country's premier truck parts manufacturers. They have made their original parts from the original trucks. All parts are manufactured in-house in Oklahoma City, USA. They offer quality parts built by Americans for old American-made trucks. So when you're looking for body moldings, bed strips, bed wood, and so much more, think Marquet. That's mar-k.com.
Oh my God. The one thing that I love about the Get Down is we get these crazy Aussies. So I've got Gavin, who's got some killer dreads, and I've got Mark, who's ornery as hell. They're out from Aussie. They're hanging out with AZ High Test. We're over at the Stoner Speed Shop booth, just hanging out, having a good time. Mark, is this your first Get Down?
No, I was here 2 years ago.
What do you think?
I love it, yeah. So many cool F100s here.
Oh my God, listen to this guy. All right, here we're done with him. Gavin, is this your first Get Down?
That's a knife.
This is my first Get Down, yeah.
What do you think?
What do I think? Well, I've just got here, but yeah, it looks pretty good so far, except for old mate here in the grey hat. He's
talking about Stoner. And this is the first time we've all seen Blake Stoner not making out with some other dude.
Yeah. Say it again. What do you want?
Well, what do you think about the whole show? I mean, you come from Australia. where obviously the modified truck world is a little different. Come to the States and there's 7,000 trucks here and shops, and what's your perspective from not only a guy who likes 60 to 66 Chevs, but you also are at a place where there's like 250 vendors and a little bit of everything. You know, kind of put that in perspective for us.
I'm a little excited with what I've seen yet. We broke down getting here, and we've got a friend, his shop truck, and we jumped it across the waterway to get in here because we couldn't get in here, so we've gone full Aussie style to get into the place. But
what do you mean you broke down in the water? I don't know, what is translate. He shipped it over, or you flew, or what are you saying?
So a mate's bought a truck here, and that's what we flew back in to bring the truck to this show, and the heap of shit broke down on the way here.
From where? Where did you go to drive to the Git Down?
Phoenix.
Chandler.
From Chandler, and for the audience, Chandler is about 45 minutes from the Git Down, and you broke down?
Yep, on the freeway. So Jason at Arizona High Test, proper good dude, but yeah, he was supposed to have the motor in the truck, so we got here and it's not in the fucking truck. It's probably what turns him into a shit cunt a little bit, but anyways, we've drove the fucking truck here.
Not a cunt, but
sounds like he is.
We've drove the truck here. We've broke down on the freeway. It was in fucking a dangerous spot. We've got some Mexican that come tow us last night. Got the truck back to the shop. We've borrowed the shop truck. We've got to here. We've had a sleep. Mark's got here. He's got shit face. He's once allowed every 6 months. I've woke up. I've drove over here. They won't let Jason's shitbox truck in, so we've jumped it across the waterway and run over markers, and we've got into the show. But what I've seen, or back to your question, what I've seen already is fucking good, mate.
Okay, I love your story. Would you have it any other way? Would you have everything be perfect? Would it be as fun?
No, like this is probably the best part of the trip so far after 5 days in.
For God's sake, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, okay,
Yep.
What do you think? Second time, the show's bigger, the show's better. You've been through ups and downs and all arounds.
It's bigger, but yeah, I like walking around the vendors and seeing what they got. It's pretty interesting.
So do you have a truck, a 60 to 66 at home?
I've got a 65 GMC crew cab that's at Jason's at Arizona High Test.
I've seen that. That is a mint truck. Mint.
And then I've got a
heap of shit that broke down.
That is a mint truck. Well, that's nobody's fault. That truck should not. That truck should make it. I was over there at High Test about a month ago. We did an interview. That truck is beautiful, and it broke down.
It just shit a module in the distributor, so nothing big. But Jason's put an LSX 454 in it for me, and he's doing a 60 original patina black 60 big back window. And
I saw that as well.
Yep, it's
beautiful.
It's getting a Rev B chassis under it, and Nelson supercharged 1,300 horsepower daily driver.
So as an Aussie, will you leave those here, or do you take them home?
I'll leave those two here. I've got 2 at home: a Suburban, 66 Suburban, and 66 C10 with a twin turbo Nelson in it. And so yeah, we'll just leave them here. Come over for holidays, and better than driving a renter.
I love that you like those first gens as much as you do. Have you ever, why do you think you like that first gen style of C10 so much?
I just love the shape. I like old school, but not too old. They're just a nice shape. Yeah.
So in the States, somebody I was interviewing at one point, I didn't come up with it, but they call them a loaf of bread truck. Because when you think about the way that the shape is, it kind of looks like a loaf of bread. So it's kind of funny. And then your mate here, Gavin, who's looking to get a fresh start on that SIG, how do you and why do you like that 60 to 66 so much?
Think about it.
Because square bodies are for faggots.
Well, I have a few, and last time I'm not a faggot.
I'm only joking.
It's have a think about it. It's the best time to live, yeah. 60s,
oh,
70s,
you think so?
Yeah, 60s, yep. So the body lines, everything, like they're just a cool truck, yeah.
Well, like it is. It's a cool truck.
I appreciate every model. Like it doesn't matter what it is, but the Chevys and the Yeah, 60s, best body lines, everything.
Here's my thought, and I wonder from an Australian perspective, because you guys go through a lot more, just the restrictions are way different. A 60 to 66 looks really good when it's all the way down.
Yeah.
And a big back window. And
Yeah.
that's the difference. I think with a...
Small back window.
Oh, you like the small?
Yeah, he's big, I'm small.
Okay. A 60 to 66 looks really good when it's all the way down. Do you agree, or do you like it a little higher, like coilovers versus bagged laying frame?
No, definitely low, but yeah, like as I've been saying to him with how many trucks he builds, maybe we should do one that's up with mud tires though, not the fucking chrome rims like you guys roll around in.
Crew cab up. Because the crew cab, it was just too nice to fuck with. So yeah, when I originally wanted to get a new chassis for it and drop it on the ground, but when I got it was just too nice to cut up.
Have you ever seen a nicer crew cab for the audience? I was over there at Jason's. We did Berlin AZ High Test for episode 300. They showed us Mark's truck. We walked around it. I would say it's the nicest crew cab of that era that I've ever seen. It's a immaculate truck. It obviously is not worth the shit because it can't even make it to the Git Down without breaking down. But that's probably the owner. That's a beautiful truck.
Yeah, and I love it. I was going to cut it up, and then when I saw it, I couldn't do it. It's an original Stageway crew cab, sold through a factory dealership in California, and one owner truck, and yeah, so I'm going to use it as a tow car for the 60 and going over to Mississippi to the cruising the coast and take the family over there. So,
okay, so we're in November. We're at the Git Down. Do you have Jason build your stuff and then you'll come back for cruising the coast?
Yep.
And then for Gavin, what's next for you and what you're doing?
I'll probably just go home and go back to work, but then I possibly come back if it's a short trip, since I don't do the big trips over here well. But yeah, I'll come over and probably drive one of his trucks and show you blokes how to do a skid, I reckon, blow the tires off it.
Is there a cheat to get trucks and parts home? Because I know I've talked to a few different people. I've had Chick Derbs, and we got Peter Leahy Custom Imports. But it seems like you have to try to maybe fly to the States, get as much work as you can done, throw a bunch of parts in there, because otherwise you're just paying to ship parts and custom and so on and so forth. Yeah. What's the cheat?
If you want a few parts, it's all right to get them to Australia. It does, by the time you get them there, it costs you a lot of money. If you want to build a full truck, you're probably getting someone to do it here. Hard to find someone here because we're over there that you can get the quality that we want, but that's why I'm happy for Jason to do stuff for me.
Yeah, once you find a guy like AZ High Test, you've got a great guy who's very loyal. You can trust him. And we do have shops, but I could see where people might get taken. They're over there. You're looking for a little bit of accountability to see, like, hey, I'm sending you all this money. What are you doing? It's cool though that you guys are here and you're spreading the passion of the trucks and the love. We have a few different Australian people that we've talked to over the years. We love that you guys, and we take it for granted, that we have it so much easier to build these trucks, to find these trucks, to find these parts, and you guys have to go through what you do have to go through. So to me, it's a completely different level of passion, because it's like, hey, I got to pay more, I got to get it home, it's a pain in the ass, really.
It is, but it's well worth it in the way of you can't deny a Chevy truck, like, for us. But one thing I will say, 110% fabrication over here. It's 110% quality. Arizona High Test, what they do there, Rev B, but paintwork slips a little bit. That's why we got to get them home and tidy them up, and that's where it comes into us. We always say it's a Mexican paint job on this thing.
I think that depends. I also think that what's happened in the States is there's plenty of places that are painting a really high level. It's just crazy how much. And then you're in paint prison for 2 years. Yeah. So if you can find an original paint truck, a patina truck, something like that that's a little bit enjoyable, you get a real fancy truck like your crew cab for Mark, it's a little stressful. You don't want the kids knocking it. You don't want anything like that. You get a little bit of a paint job that's OG for 50 years. You're like, this son of a bitch lasts for 50. I don't care what you do with it. You know what I mean?
And Gavin's very picky because he's a spray painter, panel beater. That's what he does at home. He's got a shop there.
He's biased.
He is a little bit biased, yeah. But
come on. Well, here's the deal. You guys have great taste. I love that you're doing business with High Test. Obviously, Rev B and the boys. Good group of dudes. Great trucks, Mark. You have a great eye. I've seen both your 60 and your crew cab. Gavin, you're suspect at best. Yeah. I hope you guys have a great time while you're visiting, and I hope you guys have a great flight home, and I hope you see you guys out on the streets because your trucks are here. So we'll look forward to cruising with you.
110%. You'll see us again.
All right. Gavin, Mark, do you guys have social media?
Yeah. I got Instagram, Facebook. Yep.
What's your Instagram?
Sandwich Artist Sparky.
Sandwich Artist Sparky. Yeah. And what's the meaning there?
I'm a sandwich artist.
You make sandwiches?
I make sandwiches. I've got Subway shops at home. That's what I do for a living. Yep. Yeah.
Sandwich Artist Sparky. And Gavin, spraypaint.com?
No, Spray King Restorations. But
Spray King Restorations.
Yeah, yep.
All one word or little underscores in there?
Space it up.
Okay. Spray King Restorations, a few spaces in there, mix in some Sandwich Artist, and you're good to go.
Yeah, proper good cunts. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Gavin, Mark, thanks, brother.
Cheers, brother. Bye-bye.
C10 Club Worldwide, second day. We're at the Git Down, and Steve from Germany. I met him last week at SEMA. We talked, and I think I've brought this up a time or two on the pod, but I was born in Germany, Landstuhl, Germany. My dad was in the Air Force, and I was born in Germany. So we start talking, and I'm like, I was born in Germany, and we go back and forth. So where in Germany are you from, and welcome to the podcast.
Hey guys, I'm Steve from Germany. I live near Berlin. It's like 40 minutes south from Berlin. It's a pretty green, nice place out there.
What do you think about Arizona? And obviously you were at SEMA, which Las Vegas and Arizona kind of blend together. We're in the desert, a lot less green here. I call it 50 shades of beige because we have so many different brown, and then just the whole perspective on the scene, obviously what we have here, and we're so lucky, in perspective to Germany.
Yeah, it's great here. I like I would call it desert. It's pretty good. It's hot. In Germany, it's actually freezing. It's cold. It's great, and it's great. Arizona has these two different. One like is a desert, and more north is more forest. That's more like European. That's awesome.
Yeah,
good,
we do.
Good.
We're lucky because we have down here in Phoenix.
No
we
rust.
have the desert, not too much rust, and then up in the mountains. How was SEMA? How'd that go last week?
Oh, that's crazy. That's so big. We walked, 25,000 steps. That's so much. That's huge. That's great. Nice to see these builds and just stunning and awesome.
Does it really motivate you? Obviously SEMA and then here to get home and get after it. And that's hard. That's not an easy thing, right? It's we take it for granted. I mean, getting parts and getting trucks, it's obviously a little bit more difficult, or a lot more difficult, to deal with that.
It's nice to see what's possible to build, but it fucks my mind because we can do that street legal in Germany. I can build that and all that. Yeah, that's possible, but it's not street legal or not allowed. Okay, you can trailer it, but it's trailer queen. And how to say, it's awesome to see it, but it fucks my mind. We can do it. That's, how can I say it? It fucks my mind.
No, I get it. I mean, to think like we get away with it, we don't even think about it, right? And then I've heard that Australia and in Europe, Germany, that their restrictions are so hard. or I guess the restrictions are just, it's an obstacle that you have to work through, and you're like, hey, I want to build this stuff, I'm motivated, but I really can't because I have to keep it street legal because I don't want to just build a trailer queen.
Yeah, you have to find a way. There is a way, but just mild custom, not that extreme like here. For us, it's extreme. I think for Americans, it's great. It's airbag, cool, but for us, it's extreme. And yeah, we find a way. We can build things, but the street legal registration, all this.
What about the Git Down? How you doing this couple days? What about the Git Down? What's your take? The first time out. I mean, this thing obviously it's almost like a SEMA. It's so big. The vendors, the people, the trucks. What are you seeing? What are you liking?
I like all here. I saw all over the years on YouTube or Facebook. I mean, I know Dinos just via Facebook. I see the scene grow and grow, and now it's my first time here to be here real, and it's so big. It's really big, and yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Now, you brought your dad. You were with your dad back at SEMA last week. He's here now. What's he think of this craziness? Is he into it too?
My dad is the same, yeah. He likes it, he loved it. He said, awesome builds. We are both builders, you know how to build it, and it's crazy, or it's good to see which way did they people do, or to talk with guys who build these trucks. That's really good. I mean, you can text with them or DM with them, that's one way, but to talk with them in real person, like with you, that's great. That's really great.
Thank you. I love that, and like you said, it's like the human connection, to talk to somebody, to put that, you know, it's like I could talk to somebody all day long on text or WhatsApp, for example, but yeah, you really get that sense and that level. What are you seeing out here? If I said, Steve, what truck would you want to take home? What style, what build, what era? It seems like a lot of guys really, I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of guys like the 60 to 66s. What's your take? What do you like?
Yeah, we are more specialized in the 60-66, a little bit more to the square body area. When I can choose here, I don't know. They're really, where's your truck? So.
Yeah, I brought the big truck this time. Orange Slice is sitting at home. I brought the Big Sky 25. I'm getting ready to go knock out another interview. You should go with me because I walked by this truck a little bit ago and it stopped me in my tracks. So that's kind of how I gauge some of this, you know, like if I'm walking and all of a sudden I see something and I put on the old, then I know like, hey, that's a pretty fire truck. So we'll go over there and I'll check it out and see what you think. What would you say? So you've got people all over the country listening. What would you say? Get out here, go to SEMA, go to Dinos, go to another truck show. I mean, this is a big bucket list item for you. Will you be back? Will it be something you come every year? Is it one of those things where, hey, it's a lot and I'll do it every other year? Or you know what? Right now I want to do it every year, but we'll see. It always changes. Life is, one of those things.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it every year, but you have to work and all this stuff. I would say SEMA, not every year. There are awesome builds, awesome rides. People all just see the new stuff, but I think SEMA it's enough, or 2 years, or maybe 3 years. But I would say Dinos every year, every week, because you have these good guys here to talk with, to chat with them, and that's awesome. Maybe not all about the vendors, all this stuff, but the people, the builders, like Jason or something, to talk with these guys. That's every week. But yeah, you have to work. I have to things at home, and I mean it's a long trip for us. We traveled 17 hours, and it's expensive and all this stuff. But when you cancel these stuff every week, yeah.
What are you working on right now at home? What's your main truck?
My personal truck where I work is 65 C30 one-ton panel. I can just send pictures. It's airbagged, not street legal. And not my daily driver, but when we have some car meets and all this stuff, I drive a 63 mixed. It is a GMC cab, GMC hood, 63 grill, big window, short bed truck. It's static low, but in the next years I will put in some airbags. And that's where we try to get it street legal. It's not allowed to cut the frame and all these things, so we have to find a way. We have a way. Yeah, that's my personal. I have a lot of stuff, too much to list.
How would you say, how hard is it to get trucks over there? Do you ship them over from the States, or are there enough over there now that you can find used trucks from other guys?
Both. Years ago, we shipped it all over. It was not that expensive. But since COVID, all this stuff is shipping really expensive. We find some days good trucks in Netherlands or sometimes in Sweden. There's a big scene. But mostly we bought it here in the US, and shipping is expensive, but yeah, find a good deal. And
what would you say from a estimate what it costs to ship? When you ship one truck, how much does it cost?
It depends, but I would say like a normal square body long bed. Pick it up in, let's say in Phoenix, pick it up in Phoenix. Let's drive it to LA. There's the harbor. Bring it to Bremerhaven. That's the harbor in Germany. Ship it. Let it ship with the company to me. I would say, let's say 3,500-4,000 euros. That's like $4,200, like with taxes, all this stuff, kind of.
So under $5,000.
Yeah, roundabout, yeah, with all, and then make it street legal, all this stuff. Let's say you put 6,000 to 8,000 into the truck to have it okay, good, street legal. Yeah, like that.
You might buy the truck here for $5,000, but you got to pay $5,000 to get it home. Maybe 7,000. So that's a big chunk. Do you guys have a network over there? I would think that you link up with other enthusiasts, other truck guys, other builders, and they know, hey, Steve's looking for this, and you guys kind of work together.
Yeah, kind of. It's a little bit. It's small. We are a group, but the most builder in my location. I build mostly the trucks, but in Germany we have some builders. It's not that huge scene, and they are not really specialized just on trucks or these things. They have a normal shop to make the normal cars, and by side these, I would say, American cars. We have some shops that do just American cars, but they are expensive. It's about the shipping and all this stuff. But the shop, I do it with my dad. We are small. We are really small. I have a normal job since COVID because it's all fucked up.
Yeah. What do you see the most of over there on the streets or at shows when you go to shows? Do you see more square bodies, more 67 to 72s? What do you see the most of?
The most of the square bodies. When you just trucks the square bodies, the 60, 66 getting more. We have a Facebook group. It grows and grows. But the most is square bodies.
How about second gen 67, 72s?
Yeah, you see it, not that often. I think it's like here, years back, nobody wants that truck, and now all wants that truck, and I think they are more expensive than the 60 to 66.
Oh yeah, it's the most. I think the 67 to 72. Yeah. I think the squares, there's so many of them, so people, it's kind of kept them more affordable, where a 67 to 72 here is the most. And then I would say out of the generational, your first gen 60 to 66, and then your later squares are kind of the least. It's a weird. Overall, the 67 to 72 is, I think, the most popular here.
Yeah, that's true.
It brings the money, and they're hard to find. They're a little bit better built. The metal is just that, they kind of regressed as they go, and they made thinner metal in the interior and more plastic. So I'm glad that you're keeping things on the road over there. It's cool to hear that. I think we should do a follow-up, check in with you every now and then and see how things are going over there. It is cool that we have the privilege to meet guys like you and connect in this community, because we just take things for granted right here, but the hustle that you guys do, even the people that are building trucks in Canada, they go through some things that we just don't have to think of, and it's already a struggle, right? So to know that you guys are doing so much more to keep these trucks alive, keep the passion alive, and just build rad shit, it's really what it's all about.
I talked, I think 5 years back with Mark Kay at SEMA, and he said to me, it's easy. I would say it's easy to build a truck here. A good truck is a different way, but it's easy to build a truck. And the real builders are the European. You should have a booth here and show your trucks. So it was like, I would say like a compliment. Yeah. But yeah, my dream is to someday I would bring a truck to SEMA or to Dinos from Germany, ship it that way. Let's see.
You only live once.
Yeah, that's true.
Make it happen however we can help. I would love to see it. And again, I think, like even Marquez said, when you have that, you know that you have to go through so much more, and it should be acknowledged for sure.
That's true, yeah. And it was a compliment from him. And someday I try to have a truck at SEMA or here.
Well, both. Hell, you make it to SEMA, then you just come here. It's a no-brainer.
And drive it in the US. That would be fine too.
So how can we connect and watch you build these trucks? What's your social media?
Yeah, just via Instagram. Big Steve's Custom Garage all together. I should do more on Instagram. It's you know that media stuff. It's eats the time. Facebook too is the same name. That's the only. I would try some days some YouTube stuff and show stuff and so. But yeah, media eats time.
All right. Well, I want to see you post more. Big Steve's Custom Garage, all one word together. Steve out of Germany. Dad, I'm glad you made it out. I'm glad you had an awesome trip. Safe travels home. Stay in touch.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for talking, and thanks.
You got it. Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT-based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com. What's up, guys? Who doesn't like to bundle and save? The team at UP Car Parts knows this, and they put together 7 different bundles for you to choose from to save up to 20% off of your lighting. From headlights to taillights to marker lights, UP Car Parts got you covered. upcarparts.com. Save up to 20% today.
Need C10 parts? Well, here at Pro, we actually have trucks. We build them, we drive them, and we deal with them every day. It's just part of who we are. We carry the best products for your truck project from the major name brands such as QA1, React, Painless, Dakota, Beltec, Borgeson, Bear, and even more. Give us a call or check us out on the web.
You've heard me talk about my gauges, Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com.
Well, you know the rule. If it stops me in my tracks, I'm going to come back and talk to the guy. I've got Chris out of Cali, and you've got one stunning 64 here. Tell me about this build. I love the color. I love the stance. But number one thing is those wheels, man. Those Tomahawks, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Walk me through the build, Chris.
Okay, it's a 64 C10. I purchased it halfway done, as you can see it, or maybe you will see it. I know we're just talking right now. Kept it for about a year. It had air ride suspension, had an LS1 motor in it when I got it. It looked pretty radical, but I wanted to take it to a next level. So I brought it back to Trey 5 Customs here in Arizona, did the GSI chassis, Tomahawk wheels, the shots, went and pulled the trigger on a Don Hardy LS3 motor, automatic transmission. It had a 5-speed manual in it when I first got it. So did the automatic transmission. Had the motor Cerakoted to match the wheels, the wheels to match the door panels. Paint was already done. Didn't want a lot of chrome, so went with the painted bumpers. Just keep it kind of soft, kind of soft and subtle. Changed the bedwood. When I first bought it, the bedwood was dark wood, so we lightened it up with this.
Well, what I see that you really have done is you took a truck and you really blended the accents. The wood is crisp. Obviously the chassis, you went with a white chassis. Some say that's crazy. I agree, it's crazy. So what was your thoughts there?
Yeah, Jeremy and I talked about it, and he's like, what color do you want to do on the chassis? And I'm like, we have to go white. It's a no-brainer, dude. Everybody's got a black chassis, you know, or a dark colored chassis. And I was like, no, let's keep it white like the cab. And then how he incorporated all the bronze highlights from GSI with the chassis, the 4-link. Dude, I think it all just came together sweet.
Oh, it does. It looks great. And for the audience, I'll go around, walk around, but just think of all the accents. So they're Cerakoted, they're painted bronze, the wheels are bronze, the motor's bronze, you've got the fawn interior, and then you guys did a really good job with that houndstooth as well. Is this one of those things, Chris, where you work with Jeremy, or do you just kind of say, hey, you do your thing and go wild, or are you one of those guys where I've kind of got my input and I'd really like to kind of see this? How do you manage that blend?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Jeremy's he's got a vision on certain things, and he's kind of a stickler, but I really wanted my input, and luckily with the whole bronze thing, we kind of just meshed together, and it kind of just worked out. You know, it's like a perfect harmony. But it was pretty simple. It wasn't too bad.
Do you worry that when you do that, and I think you guys did the right amount or the right lesser amount, because you can get carried away, like you said with 100%. The chrome, and I don't know if I'm saying that right for you guys out there, but they did accent stuff, but they didn't go too crazy. And a lot of times we can look around here and see where somebody went a little too far, and then it starts to retract. And my buddy Sam and I talk about that. You gotta just let the truck do the speaking. Don't try to run away with it and get too crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I was going for, especially with bumpers. You look around here and everybody's got chrome bumpers. They're everywhere. I wanted painted bumpers to kind of keep it just a solid piece or a solid color from front to back, which keeps it soft. But then you look at the wheels, they're really radical. So then it's like, whoa, no, it's not that soft. It's hard as fuck, you know? But like the interior too, it's simple. Like you said with the houndstooth, it's, to me in the white, it's timeless.
Well, you nailed it. And again, for the audience, the whole thing is tan, and I would say a beautiful beige tan, kind of a fawny color. But you left, because it's a custom, you went with the white top, right, cab top, but then you get that accent with the white off of the interior. So the whole thing blends very well. It's a very, very nice, well-built truck. Love your style. Now you're selling it. Would you do anything else to it? Let's say you weren't selling it, you were keeping it. Are you super happy? I wouldn't change one thing. Or if you were rebuilding, what would you change? And then what will you build after you sell it?
Yeah,
There's 3 questions wrapped into one right there.
Yeah, I think if I kept it, I wouldn't change a thing. I just drive it. It's fun to drive. For me personally, my taste, it's done from head to toe, front to back. So yeah, I love it the way it is. Selling it, I don't really have anything in mind afterwards.
Why are you selling it?
Just too much money tied up in it, you know.
Well, you just had a lot of you had an A list going, right? I mean, when you think about, you've got the full chassis, you've got the GSI, you've got the build to Jeremy, which I get. You got the Don Hardy, so the wheels, everything. You went right on it, and that's the problem, right? It's one of those things where it starts to snowball, and you're like, but I can't put shitty wheels on it. I can't put these, and it just keeps going.
Saw the price tag on the shots, I was like, holy shit! But you know, do you stop? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think going a little bit extra here and there just help bring it together as one. Yeah.
So is this one of those things where you still get to enjoy it? You drive it. You brought it out to the show. Do you auction it? Do you just keep it putting it out there? And I think the problem is the auction's so hard. Yeah, and I believe, you're like, well, do I go with something that has a reserve, or do I go with something like at Barrett where they no reserve everything and some guys win, some guys lose?
Yeah, I'm on the shelf with that 100%. I've talked to people about doing the auction and the no reserve. One guy was telling me this morning, take it there, you can get over 2 for it, you know. But then I watched the show and I'm like, man, stuff that cost $100,000 is going for 40. I'd have a heart attack. And then I think about Mecum, where you can get a reserve and go there. But I've had a couple inquiries since I've been here the last couple days. So, you know, I don't have to sell it. Yeah. It's just something I want to, you know, move on and put some money back in the bank and do some home improvements. And who knows what'll pop up after that.
I hope somebody buys it. It's a beautiful truck, but I also hope that you build something else. And maybe you don't have to build something extreme, or maybe that costs so much. What would you build?
Man, I'd like a 53, 54 Bel Air, something like that. You know, patina, so you could set your beer on it, or the kids can scratch it, and you don't have to worry about it.
And they're still out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, the Tri-5s, your 55, 6, 7s were so popular. Now you see those 3s and 4s, and they're still out in the fields, and they're out there, and you got to find them. And the cool thing about that is you've got the old metal, you've got the patina, you got the curves. You throw a banger motor in there, redo that interior, make it pop, and then go down the road and have fun and not stress because the kids are rubbing up against it. And this thing in the garage is driving you crazy because you love it. You love that you're out here and people are, I mean, again, seeing it, loving your style, but it's stressful.
Yeah, it's 100% stressful. And I keep this at a shop. So there's another expense, you know. So I'm in the middle of building a shop at home in my backyard. So if this goes, I'll just keep my dirt bikes, my Harleys in there, and whatever else pops up after.
Yeah, life's good. What are you seeing when you walk around? Are people loving this? Are they coming up to you? Are they telling you it's a beautiful truck? Or are you getting a lot of positive feedback?
Yes, I am. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, and I think people kind of double take it because it's not flashy. You know, and then they really look at it and they're like, holy shit, everything's kind of tied together. Look at the motor, it's radical. Look at the wheels. And for me, people have been saying, dude, it's all one package.
Well, here's how I'll take you out on this, Chris. When I see this truck, it caught my eye. But it catches more of your eye the closer you get and you look at the interior, the wheels, the brakes, the motor, the back, the way you have it, it presents, and then you see it and you're like, okay, now as one package, as this build, this thing is just very well put together, and it might bring you in, and it's going to keep bringing you, it's going to suck you in even further as you get into this truck. So great job, love the style, love the build, good luck on the sell, and I'm glad you brought it out.
Thank you, brother, I really appreciate it.
Social media.
Stilly 805.
Steely?
Stilly, S-T-I-L-L-Y.
S-T-I, okay, you live over in the 805?
Yeah,
it's good.
Santa Maria, California.
Good beer. Thanks for bringing it out. Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate you.
Good job. Last year, we were lucky enough to hook up with Hunter and Jen and Liquid Creations and Apex, and they gave away a seat, and it was a great, great story. We're at the Get Down. They did it again. So, Jen, it's just a great cause. Obviously, from a media perspective, what you're doing, thank you for this. And we've got another happy, I would say, winner. Tell us about what you're giving away today.
Yeah, absolutely. If you missed the Get Down, we're bringing the Get Down to you today. We gave away with Liquid Creations 2 bucket seats with Pro Car seat frames that are adapted for any type of build that you got going on. Built with pristine craftsmanship by, again, Chris at Liquid Creations, using Apex leathers, Classico black onyx, and an awesome custom CNC stitching insert. We are so excited to give away these seats to Brian and Melissa today. Awesome, awesome time. If you missed it this year, guys, you better get down here next year.
She's exactly right. Did you hear how she had that organic plug? You better get down here to the Get Down next year. Apex Leather, again, teaming up with Chris at Liquid Creations. Ryan, you won the seat. Actually, your amazing wife did. And it doesn't matter because we know what it's going in. I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, it's pretty cool, and I think you said you had red accents, and you showed me a picture of your truck is black. So this is pretty crazy.
It was pretty crazy when she was describing it up on the stage and talking about the red accents. I was like, this would be great to win because it would just be that extra addition to the truck. That would just be amazing. And it's going to fit perfect and look great in the truck.
Nice, nice. So how's your truck coming? Tell us a little bit about it.
So it's a 73 C10 short bed. It's been a work in progress for 14 years. It's pretty much done. It's a couple little accents and little things to fix. So it's drivable, so we can come out here next year. But it's black, flat black with a little bit of red accents.
And for the audience, I mean, obviously we're an audio pod, but I'll take a picture. These are just a beautiful black, kind of a gloss with the flat on the inside, a beautiful red crisscross style stitch. I love them. I mean, it's going to look perfect. You might need to get a console now. Maybe you get a Blazer console or something like that. 14 years, that's a long time, but it's cool that whatever the story and the journey was, you didn't give up on this. Why did you, or how did you come across a truck 14 years ago?
So, ex-brother-in-law of mine, he was driving it. It was a piece of junk. It was an old ranch truck. It was rusted completely, and he was done driving it, and he was looking to give it away. And I said I'd take it. And so started from there, and to complete frame off all the way to the ground, brought it back up, completely touched every bolt and everything. that I did myself.
That journey, a lot of people, they build stuff, they don't go that deep probably. Patience, money, fun, therapy. What would you say that 14-year of touching every bolt and getting a truck that was maybe too far gone and you brought it back to life and rejuvenated it? What's that done for you? And is it your hobby? Is it your passion? Is it both, or are you just crazy like all of us?
I think probably all of the above. Yeah, definitely crazy. I couldn't stop. There was highs and lows. Lots of cussing in the garage and getting very frustrated and throwing tools. But you know what? It's drivable. We've got 500 miles on it now on the engine, and it drives amazing. So to see that reward at the end, that I can drive it and it sounds awesome, the stereo system's killer, and it's low.
Well, you're gonna have some killer buckets to go with it. Love the journey and love that, like you said, for the audience out there, you might have a build, you might have more builds than you should have, and you just are getting in deep, but just know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. So do you have a name for this truck?
It's called the Seaton.
The Seaton.
Basically C10, yeah. But SEETON.
Okay, the Seaton C10. What does Melissa get? Because she kind of won the seats, and we heard her name. We heard a few females win some prizes today. I mean, dinner, some new shoes. What do you think? What did she negotiate? Was there any negotiations?
She thinks the trucks are hers. She's going to get the license plate that says she let me borrow this. Nice. So yeah, she thinks it's her truck. This is just one more, drop in the
hat, really, yeah, in the bucket. Either way,
yeah, the bucket. So
Melissa, what do you think about winning this seat, and really how sharp they are?
I'm so excited. I personally think this is going to be a great add to the truck, especially because the current seats aren't as comfortable. So I'm stoked.
Okay, I'm stoked for you guys. I'm stoked for you. Apex Leather, as always. Liquid Creation, you guys did a great job. Thank you both for taking time, and again, congrats.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the seats, and we'll be here next year with the truck so we can all see it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen.
Yep, thank you. Have a great day. See you next year at the Git Down.
Hey, calm down. Even though we're C10 Talk, we got a K25 because it is a GMC. Kind of reminds me of the truck I just built, Big Sky. But I've got Tom Smith from Art Morrison Chassis. You guys got the 4x4 out here. First and foremost, as a firefighter, this thing drew me in, and I've seen your socials. This chassis is absolutely stunning. I just had Cisco walking by, and it's a hidden gem, and he nailed it. So, Tom, tell us a little bit about what you got going on out here at the Get Down.
We just got out here hanging out with our buddies at Goodfellows here, AJ. Fantastic bunch of guys that can set you up with chassis and engines. Fantastic dudes. Been working with them for a long time, but we're out here displaying this fire truck. Brand new chassis with us, brand new links, brand new axles and housings that we've been doing ourselves. All the knuckles, everything is made in-house, and we're here to show it off.
Okay, well, I think you've done a great job. How's the response been? And do you get to show it off as much as you want because some of that amazingness is covered up?
I would love to have a chassis sitting next to it so everybody could see the fabrication going into it. Climbing underneath it's really fun for a lot of people, but I mean, the reaction to it, it's like a puppy in a preschool. It is fantastic. Everybody loves it, just staring at it, loving it. Turn the lights on, get it roaring. They love it.
What sets this apart? Because it's a stunning chassis. Obviously, the view we get is amazing, high quality, the components, but the performance. What sets you guys apart with this new chassis division, the 4x4 chassis division of Art Morrison?
Now, capabilities. This thing will do anything. It is a rock crawler. It is a Baja truck. It will do anything. It will move. It will stretch. It will get there. No matter what, no ifs or buts.
What motor's in this truck?
This is a 6.6 L8T. Yes, but we had Texas Speed hand us over a Chupacabra. They went through the heads for us too. We put a 10-speed behind that and an Atlas behind that. So it's fantastic. Doing about 600 horsepower.
How's the 10-speed working out? We hear so much about it. It doesn't seem like it's good. I know there's some things that are working out, but I think you put enough power, in front of it. And then are you guys having any issues with that?
No issues. I'm having a great time driving it while I'm down here. It cruises the streets like nothing else. The big tire's a little rough, but it cruises like a dream.
Hey, these tires are huge. How big are these tires?
We're going with 40s. Yep.
Big brakes?
Yes, Aerolites.
Okay, so you find yourself probably just a wholesome fire truck, auction it off or something. You guys get a hold of it. You guys took it to the extreme. I love the chassis. I love the gauges. You kept it's got an intake on one side, fire department hose intake, bumpers, everything. What's this type of chassis run? So somebody's listening. They want to get in the off-road world. what are they thinking?
They're thinking anywhere from the mid 55s all the way up. We can get way up there with it depending on how you want to option it out. But we're going to start right about there, but that's going to be on the base model.
If I say, hey, I want the fire department chassis, what's that run me?
Probably going to be real close to 75, if anything. Yep.
Okay. I actually don't think that that's that bad, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a lot and it sounds like a lot, but when you see what you see here and what you don't have to do, you just get it shipped out. Yep. You work with you guys, probably a few different specs, and then go from there. This is an absolutely stunning truck. What's next for you guys?
Moving on to other rigs. Probably going to be the same type of articulation, the same capability, but in other vehicles.
Fords or other Chevs, Blazers, Suburbans, different things like that? Or are you going like Ford, Dodge, or what?
A little bit of everything and quicker than you can think it can be done.
So what he's saying is stand by, stay ready, and follow. This is a different social media for you guys, right?
AME 4x4.
Okay.
Yep. But you can follow it with the Art Morrison page too. They're tagged together, so you'll be able to find it.
Art Morrison Enterprises, AME 4x4. Check out this truck. Morrison Fire Department #1, square body 73 GMC. Tom, thanks for your time. Love the truck. An amazing truck. I hope you get all the response you're looking for, and good luck in 2025.
Awesome. Thank you very much. This has been real fun.
Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
What up, what up? SEMA, we are over in West Hall, which is kind of your off-road, overland stuff. I've got Mark Helwig. Mark, we're talking suspension. You've been doing this your whole life. When you think about C10 trucks, a lot of them are lowered. Why is it so important when you're messing with that geometry, thinking, hey, sway bars and center of gravity, you know, camber? Walk us through some of those things where guys can, maybe they're not real happy with their ride. Where's some things that they can really make some adjustments?
Well, when you lower a vehicle, a lot of the geometry dynamics change. So you want to make sure that when you've done that radical lowering job, that you actually monitor or measure out your camber changes that is affected by upper and lower control arms, and your coil spring height, your ride heights, and your jounce heights. So you want to measure all that in and take all that into account. A sway bar will help you tremendously in that regard when you've lowered, because typically the geometry changes to the point where the suspension in its optimal ride height, normal ride height, is geared to manage the roll and stability of the vehicle. When you lower that, you change all those angles, all the dynamic changes, so you can actually change the ability of your car or truck to manage the body roll. So a sway bar is a big addition to that suspension system to help control that body roll, even in a lowered state. A lot of people need to think about when you raise a vehicle, the increased center of gravity, CG. But a lowered vehicle, you change the CG, which is an advantage, but because you've changed the geometry of the suspension, you need to consider that the vehicle, even in its lowered state, doesn't have as much ability to control body roll, especially if you're carrying heavy loads.
I think it goes without asking, but GM did a good job. We have the coil front end, independent front suspension. A lot of trucks, Suburbans, they'll have a sway bar, a factory sway bar, but the bushings are old, the bar's old, the bar's maybe 1.25 inches versus maybe 1.5 inches. So when guys are lowering these trucks, or maybe they're leaving them at a stock height, or maybe going 4.6, why is it important to think about upgrading that sway bar and those bushings?
Well, along with the sway bar bushings, all of your control arm bushings, all of your tie rod systems, all of that should be upgraded, especially in the older vehicles. The mount systems on an older vehicle, especially in those early C10, in that era, the mount systems degrade. They tend to degrade. The bolts, the mount systems have a fatigue life, if you will. So you want to make sure that you get that corrected, at least understand that it may have fatigued and may need replacing. a lot of the late model or contemporary manufacturers will have considered all that when they introduce a product for the marketplace, and you're replacing the old factory bar. They will have decided that a better mount system is optimal for even the lowered vehicles. So you want to pay attention to that. Some of the old C10s had a little tower bracket, I called it, and that bracket took a lot of flex and fatigue in that, really broke a lot of those brackets. So manufacturers nowadays will actually replace that system with a more robust bracket system. So that's a plus if you're lowering and changing to a late model or a contemporary sway bar.
Yeah, those little, it's such a skinny little bracket, and it tried to make that, I guess, the mounting flat, but you're right, it took so much, I guess, just, I don't know what, it took a pounding, right? And over time. Another thing would be those old bushings are rubber, and now you have your polyurethane. What do you get when you upgrade to greasable, zircable, polyurethane bushings, whether it's sway bar or even your control arms, and just being able to lube that and really keep a better serviceable, management to that suspension?
Well, the early mount systems like you're talking about were rubber, and rubber is very susceptible to ozone. Ozone will break down rubber. That's essentially what breaks down your tires is ozone, and the same thing happens with the mount systems in a vehicle. Also, heat will affect the old rubber systems. So polyurethane, the new manufacturers, they engineer all of those preventative measures for fatigue, and the ozone won't affect the plastic, the polymers that they use. So it's really a good system and a good idea to upgrade to the polyurethane. Even if you got a later model vehicle, the polyurethanes, they can change the density, which changes what we call the compliant rate of the material. So they can change the flexibility just with chemical changes, and they can also change the tensile strength, which is a measure of how easily the material will tear. So if you put it under high stress, a high tensile strength piece of polyurethane will hold up under higher stress situations.
I think ultimately the point is, for our audience, is it's cool when you find an old classic, and it's cool when it's original. The more original is preferred, but just realizing that 50 years of old technology and wear and tear versus upgrading is really the right thing to do. When you're breaking the truck down, we have the technology. Hellwig has the technology when you think about sway bars, and it's out there now. So we know what to do. The answer's there. Spend the money, do it right, and you'll have it improved ride, better quality, and again, it could last for another 50 years.
Absolutely. We didn't touch on some of the other suspension components, such as shocks. Those are critical aspects. Your coils, the design of your coil, the rate of the coil, all those things need to be considered also.
And you bring up a great point. It's so funny when you think about it, because it all comes down to money. Kids get into these trucks, or young men, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to pancake the cross member, which is going to completely change the geometry. I'm going to slam the front end. I'm going to cut a coil. So you're doing things over time that is probably not the right way. It's not. We know it's not. We know you're getting a desired look, but at the end of the day, if you're listening to this pod, spend some money. You're looking for the right ride. You're looking for the quality. Do it right. There's solutions out there for us.
There are, and safety and drivability are huge factors when you're modifying like that. So you want to make sure that you put a vehicle on the road that's drivable and also safe.
That's it. All right, Mark, thank you for just 40 years of serving the automotive industry. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for taking time to talk to C10 Talk.
Happy to share with you.
Thank you, Mark. SEMA, what's up, guys? Hey, I'm out here in front of West Hall, and a little Fall Guy-ish to put the visual with the truck here. We got a 1976 It's got like an 8-inch lift on 37s. I've got Ron Henshaw out of North Speed, out of Minnesota. Ron, I don't know, first, amazing truck. Thanks for taking time to be on the podcast. Is this your first time at SEMA?
No. This is the third time we've brought a vehicle to SEMA. I've been coming out here many years. It seems like every couple of years we get a car out here.
So how did this thing come about? This is a beautiful 1976 K20. Just a stunner.
We did work for a guy, and he kind of passed our name to a buddy who was looking to do this Chevy truck. So he brought it to me, said, I have this, very, very clean 76 Chevy truck, 8,800 miles on it, barn inherited, it had to beg his buddy to sell it to him kind of truck. And he told me what he wanted. He wanted to keep it orange and white. It was originally more of a cream, but we brightened it up. And, he made it pretty easy for us because he brought us a really nice truck to start with.
Yeah, for the audience, again, 8,800, not 88,000, 8,800 miles. I think the guy just must have never driven it.
Yeah, the story was that the farmer bought two. This one had a fuel leak or something. They stuck it in the barn, and it just never left. So when the farmer passed away and his grandson inherited it or whatever, the dude was going to hang a plow on it, and the guy that I built it for is like, no, please do not.
So that guy, your customer, he saved it. Just for the audience, kind of a perspective. I walked up, I'm just, Googling over this truck because it's kind of a bright orange, bright burnt orange and white, two-tone 4x4 jacked up Chevy truck. Every kid that's my generation, wanted a truck like this, and it's a stunning work of art and your craftsmanship. But the trim alone, I said, hey, this trim looks perfect. What trim did you go with? Thinking he's going to say like, oh, this is all brand new Marquet. He said, this is all the factory trim. And I'm like, there's no effing way that this is all the factory trim. So what you had to work with was, I'm thinking, if it comes out of Minnesota, Wisconsin, is there rust at that point, even though because it was sitting, or what would you have rated the truck when it came to you?
It was probably a 9. So the only rust that we had to repair was it had the farm mirrors on it. So there's around the bolts in the door, like we had to fix that. Other than that, we just made it straight.
Yeah, what a beautiful truck. So talk us through the journey. When you sit down with this owner, what's his name?
Ray Kowski.
Okay, Ray or Rick?
Ray.
Okay, Mr. Ray, love your truck. When you sit down with Ray, did he just say, hey, do your thing, Ron? Or did he have a pretty good idea? Lift and because this is a big truck.
Originally, he actually did most of the chassis. So he had started building, and he's like, it's going to take me my entire life to finish this truck, and most guys don't do their own paintwork. So originally, we were just going to paint it and then give it back to him. He was going to put it together, and it just snowballed into keep going, take care of it for me, let's get it done. But one of the things that he really said was, I've been trying to buy everything I can that's U.S. made. So we've used, I think, very little things that, were not made in the USA, and that's how, we went with the Detroit wheels because they were made here. We tried to find headers that were made here, and I honestly can't remember what they were. The ones that we had on there didn't fit right originally, so we changed them to something. I can't remember what they
Maybe a Hedman or, I don't know where Sanderson are made, but Hedman's definitely made here. But either way, so you buy everything that's in the U.S., or you're looking for NOS type stuff, and you went with the Detroit steel. They look so good. Love the style of the wheel and everything. What about drivetrain? What was in this originally? And then where did you kind of figure out where you needed to be?
Originally, I believe it was just a small block Chevy truck. He had the motor built. He's got a circle track buddy. They built this dart block 427. She's pretty spicy. I think it's right around 500-600 horse, something like that.
What tranny's in it?
It's a Turbo 400. We had a local guy build that's built a bunch of trannies for me too. And then he also did the 205, and we put a 2-inch stick shifter on it. We're at SEMA, and we have a front drive shaft, so that's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't drop that.
No, you could say that's fine. Yeah, no, it really is. It is, because you have it all together. It's a running, driving truck. gear ratio. When you went through the axles, did you do that or did he do that? And then did he keep the gear ratio the same?
He had a guy do the axles for him, and he stuck with a 410, and that's why we might go to a 456 or like a 430 if we can get that in there.
Well, and again, I think the audience is pretty well aware, but you lift a truck this high, 8-inch lift on 37s, you're running the 411s. I mean, having the 400 probably helps because it's a lower end and you don't have that overdrive, but yeah, going to a 456 or something would definitely help this thing when you go to that big of a tire.
Yeah, and right now, like, it cruises down the highway at 75, 80, just fine. You know, it's okay. It's a little high in RPM, but I think we were afraid that if we went too low with the gears, that, you know, it would be unpleasant to drive at speeds.
Well, and
nobody drives 55 miles an hour anymore.
Yeah, no, they really don't. The key, obviously, is that 400 and whether or not he wants to do a gear bender and overdrive. I really think you guys killed it on the interior. Picked a really fresh color. Walk us through that.
I work with an upholsterer, Dan Knish. He owns Knish Customs and now has started a new company doing square body stuff, Square Body Solutions. Because the truck is so classically styled, we tried to not put a bunch of modern stuff in it. We left, you know, like the buckles on the seats. It's got factory seat belts and all that stuff. Went with a tan distressed leather and white and like gold stitching to match. That's a factory dash pad, and it was just so nice we didn't want to change it.
I mean, audience, factory dash pad, not cracked, mint, seat buckles are perfect. He just rolled the visor down, and it's mint. It is a 10 on a 10. The buckles, I asked him about the buckle covers, and he goes, no, those are all original. So you can imagine, 8,800 miles, you know, whether it's in a barn or somewhere covered up in Wisconsin, you guys nailed it. The color, the color is like a burnt orange. Where did you say it's out of, like a Kia?
Yeah, like a Kia minivan or something. And we're looking for orange, and we started flipping through the chip book, and this one popped. It looked really good with the white. The white is a GM diamond white.
The key is that this is going to be, it's got little, it looks like maybe like a little pearl. When this thing's cleaned up, glossed up, rolling down, I mean, it's going to be a head turner all day long. The owner has got to be just elated.
Yeah, he's super excited about it, and this is a 4-year process. So he hasn't even driven it yet. I'm excited for him to get his hands on it. He'll be out here tomorrow. He'll get to see all these people stop and looking at his truck, which always makes me feel good about what I've done for him. Now, will he? I know you guys are going to the Get Down. Is he going as well? Nope, he's not coming to the Get Down.
Man, I'd love to meet the guy. Love his truck. Love what you were able to do, Ron. Interior, less is more. You didn't get too fancy and too crazy. I've got to think people are loving walking by this thing. Stance and style is on point. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Where can we find you? Do you have social media?
Yep. We're North Speed Restoration on Instagram and Facebook. Our website is northspeedrestoration.com.
Yeah, North Speed Restoration. You guys are up out of Minnesota. Phenomenal job. An amazing truck. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great, safe Thanksgiving, friends, family, and food. Support those that are supporting us. We've got a lot of different vendors, a lot of different people making rad stuff for us, the community, the trucks, the hobbyists, the enthusiasts. And again, if you want some stickers, some rad shirts, we worked hard on that concert shirt. I really dig it. Some hats, whatever you need. Truck 30 get you 30% off. So trucktalkmedia.com, c10talk.com, c10nation.com. However you want to get there, I think I have links through the social as well. Appreciate the support. Have a great week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Late.